Good afternoon, boys and girls. It's me again. I hope you're all doing well. Today is the 17th of November 2016. We've just had the retail sales figures come through for the UK, and we've got a growth of 1.9%. Fantastic figures, absolutely fantastic. So we've got great figures on exports, great figures on employment, great figures on retail sales, great figures on tourism. Basically, we're in a really good place at the moment. But yet, when you look at Twitter and you see the Ramonas, every single propaganda story that's out there from the people that want to stay in, they literally tweet out and say, you know, we said that this was going to happen, blah, 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 blah. And it could be, oh, we're going to be, what was that last tweet? There was a report that said if we was to leave the EU, we would be something like, something silly, I think it was about 100 billion or 500 billion out of pocket by leaving the EU. And one guy tweets, well, I told you this was going to happen. But none of the information that was in the actual report is actually stating fact. Nothing at all. They said if this happens and that happens and that happens, then we may be this certain amount of billions out of pocket. But I could say that about anything, right? You know, if I drive down the road and there's a dog in the street, I might actually run him over. I might walk out in the street and I might get run over by a bus or by a car. This is it's all hearsay bollocks. You know, anyone could turn around and say, if that happens and that happens and that happens, well, maybe because that happens, this is going to happen. At what point of not factual do they not understand? Or is it just literally, that's our agenda, we don't want to leave the EU, so any news that will help us do that, even though it's false news, we're going to literally keep tweeting it and tweeting it and tweeting it and tweeting it. That's what they've been doing. The Ramonas have literally been tweet. But there's none of it's evidential. It's not factual in any which way. It's only if 1, 2 and 3 happens, then number 4 could happen. But they still tweet out this shit. At what point do these so-called intelligent people, because remember the 17.4 million are uneducated, you do remember that, right? At what point do these intelligent people not realise that what they're actually reading is just propaganda and just bollocks? At what point do these 48% start realising that actually our country's doing really well? And actually the EU's in crisis, whether you're talking financially or just their policies and going federal. At what point does that sort of click in to make them realise? Because there must be a chunk of the 48% that now realise that leaving the EU is actually maybe a good thing and not a bad thing, and it had nothing to do with race or someone being bigoted or misogynist. It might be due to the fact that we may have had some facts come through that we didn't like, so we decided that we wanted to change it. You know, what intelligent people tend to do, but we are the uneducated ones. I totally understand that. But if you had all this evidence, every factual stuff coming through to you in reference to the growth of the UK ever since we voted outside of the EU, wouldn't you start questioning? Because I would. I'm out.